Let's go, UW. Allegedly, we have offered Dan Moore, James Daniels, CA3, and a second-round pick, but the Niners allegedly want GP or Muth and a first or 2 first-round picks.
How you feel about that?
Well, we're not giving up Pickens or Muth, I'll tell you that. And we're not giving up 2 first-round picks. If the package is all 3 of those players and a second, that seems a little steep too. I thought it was any one of those 3 plus a second. Dan Moore, James Daniel,
Yeah,
or
he's making
Calvin
it sound
Austin.
like it's all 3 of them plus a draft pick. I'm just like, man.
Yeah, that seems a little steep.
I mean,
but
it's dang near 2 starters you're throwing in there in terms of Daniels and Dan Moore.
Yeah, I don't know where the Niners are finding this crazy Aiyuk value from, that he's this top 5 receiver, deserves that second offer of Pickens or Muth and a first. Like, where is this coming from? DeAndre Hopkins in his prime went for a second-round pick to the Cardinals. A.J. Brown coming from the Titans, like, who I would maybe make a comparable like trade market comparison to with Aiyuk.
Yeah.
He went for a first to the Eagles. Like, come on, man. Like, a second, all right, maybe the Steelers get the one up on that, but when Aiyuk wants to play here and he doesn't want to go to any of these other teams making offers, like, sometimes you got to do what you got to do. If it was a bidding war between 3 teams Aiyuk was willing to go to, then yeah, maybe you do pony up the first round pick. I don't understand where the Niners are finding this crazy Aiyuk value from, thinking that he deserves to be traded for like he's Justin Jefferson or Jamar Chase.
I mean, statistically, though, he had a dope year.
Yeah, he's good. He's good, but, I mean, DeAndre Hopkins in his prime went for a second.
DeAndre never played in the Super Bowl, though. Aiyuk
I don't
made
even know
plays.
what that means.
Aiyuk made plays. Come on, man. He got postseason production. That shows he made plays in all his postseason games, Super Bowl. Oh, come on, man.
That is nothing.
You count all the big games. You know they weighted more. That does count. So maybe that's where they see the value, because they say, man, I've seen him not just in the regular season, I've seen him in the postseason too.
For that stuff than this.
I mean, he still did it though.
He's good. He's good. I mean, he's not DeAndre Hopkins in his prime though.
No.
AB, we had to trade him for like a 3rd round pick.
AB had a lot going on with his situation though.
We're in a similar spot right now with Aiyuk. Ayuk's not taking shots at people,
well,
but
that's what I'm saying.
He doesn't want to be a 49er, and he wants out. The leverage is kind of gone from the 49er side of things.
But when I say it's not to the AB showed up for his last game as a Pittsburgh Steeler in a mink coat and walked off. Remember? Didn't dress. Aiyuk has never gotten to that.
But just the thought of this dude doesn't want to be there anymore. He wants to trade it out. Like, it's tough, man. Like, we go by the mantra, you want volunteers, not hostages. And I think the Niners probably go with the same ideology because they're a well-run organization. You don't want this around for the season. You don't want this around.
True. But at the same time, if you're the Niners, you're not going to give away this asset that you've brought in as a draft pick, cultivated, developed, and now that it's ready to, take this next level, and we're having a little bit of a difference of opinions on what the price value is on this guy. That doesn't mean I'm just going to give him away to this other team because they really, really want him. They really, really need him, but they don't want to give me what I think he's worth. If I think he's worth that, that's what I think he's worth.
Yeah, we'll see what Aiyuk does. Does he sit out the season? Does he come in disgruntled? All right, I'll take your money.
That's a real question.
I'll take your money, but I'm just going to be pissed off and not play hard. That's fine, too. He could really go hardball.
I think if you do that, though, it hurts Aiyuk more than it hurts the Niners. Because the Niners already have other pieces they already drafted in place. No different if a guy were to get hurt. But if you send that message that if I don't get my way, I'm going to shut down on you and I'm not going to participate. Do we really want that type of attitude here in Pittsburgh? Because I think that's what we would start looking at if you get to week 6 and you like, oh, he's clearly out here doesn't care. Now we go over here like, well, dang, we seen when GP at one point in time didn't get what he wanted and we had to have that talk with him. It's like, man, are we about to have that to an even greater degree because he's going to come here and get $30 million? So now when he says, bro, you ain't giving me enough targets, I'm not getting what I want. You've already seen what I did in San Fran. I'll do it here too. I just think he has to be very cautious and careful if he takes that approach because we've seen how these owners operate, man.
Yeah, I get you're not trying to give him away, but damn, dude. Like, all right.
Yeah.
All right, you got 2 teams that are offering a trade package that you want,
Mm-hmm.
but Aiyuk doesn't want to go to. Aiyuk obviously doesn't want to come back and play for you. Steelers are the only offer right now.
Yeah.
Like, you just, hey, you got to take the L, man. Sometimes you got to take the L. You should have traded Aiyuk before the draft. You probably could have got more.
But if you're the Niners, what's the difference of you just having him sit the whole year and now he's miserable, but he ain't going nowhere else, and you don't have to worry about him hurting you either in terms of having to play against him because you still control his rights.
Well, they need a no lineman. By all accounts, they need a no lineman, and getting an extra asset for the draft never hurts.
But
And you don't have to pay him. You gotta pay all these other players too. So
yeah.
All right, pay Aiyuk. And you're like, I don't know. What are you going to do? Pay Aiyuk and then not pay Trent Williams, and you got all these other dudes you got to pay? They're not going to be able to afford all this.
Mm-hmm.
And they know this.
Yeah.
They
but
know
they
this
don't have to
deep
make
down.
that decision today, though. And I think the way that we're looking at it as outsiders are like, yo, man, y'all might as well make the decision. Might as well just give them up. Might as well just take this loss. Just take the deal. And they like, bro, that might be the case, but we don't have to do that until a year from now, realistically. And if they wanted to really be butts about it, they could tag Aiyuk after that and be like, we got it for the next 2. So that's the part where I'm just like, I don't think that they look at it as we've completely lost just yet. Whereas I think your perspective is like, bro, at this point in this thing, man, y'all not going to get a better deal. Take this. It is what it is. I just think for them, they're like, no, we ain't done just yet. We got a couple more options here we can go with. This was public out here, but we still got some other stuff that we could do. And I think they're at that stage, but something has to happen sooner rather than later, though.
Yeah,
for both of them.
Season's almost going to start.
Yeah, because for Aiyuk, it's like, all right, you keep sitting out. That's fine. But now what is your conditioning like when it's actually time to play in these games? What version are we getting of you? Whether it's via trade or if you still in San Fran. It's getting real, baby. It's getting real. Shout out to them contracts, though, man. This is the only time we get that. With that buddy involved. The dude's like, hey, man, I need my compensation. And this when that business side come out from the owners. Hey, man, we ain't about to just give you all that.
And part of me thinks, even if the Niners want to up their offer a little bit, I just think it's too far gone at this point with Aiyuk and them. I think he's just done. He's fed up. They paid everyone else but him.
So, from your perspective, who gets hurt more? Because I kind of gave you my perspective. If you know, it works where Aiyuk sits out this year, right? They can't get this deal done. Who do you think it hurts more in that situation from your perspective?
If he sits out,
yeah, say the Niners don't get a deal done, they can't move him, but at the same time, they can't come to an agreement contract wise.
it'll be Aiyuk. Niners are not gonna benefit from it either. I think they're gonna be hurting.
Yeah.
I think they'd be hurting. But yeah, they still have Kyle Shanahan. They'll be able to make things work. They won't be as explosive though.
That's my thing.
They won't be as dynamic.
I think
It'll be a lose-lose.
It'll
It'll be a Le'Veon Bell situation like over here.
Respect.
Like we still were fine on offense,
Yeah.
but it was like the little things, like James Conner fumbling and stuff,
Respect.
that hurt us because I think Ben led the league in
He still played well.
passing yards
Mm-hmm.
in 2018. He had like 30-plus touchdowns. AB got his. James Conner
Conner
made
had
a
the
Pro
Pro
Bowl.
Bowl.
Yeah,
Heck
but
yeah.
it was the little things that Le'Veon Bell brought to the table that you missed, and I think there's going to be that type of gap between a Brandon Aiyuk and a Purcell or whoever they have trying to replace him.
Yeah. Well, anytime you're talking about
Like Niners, they'll
young
still be in the
players,
mix for the
draft
playoffs
picks,
and all that.
Yeah.
But yeah, maybe their Super Bowl contention status gets a little bit more up in the air.
Mm-hmm. But they got the quarterback though.
Yeah, I mean they'll be
Once you got
fine.
a quarterback,
They would be
that's all you
fine.
need, right?
They would be fine, but there might be just some little hiccups that pop up along the way throughout the season by not having Aiyuk. Yeah, it would hurt Aiyuk more. So like that's the weird part. Everyone's got some sort of leverage in this.
No.
Everyone does because Steelers do, in that Aiyuk only wants to play here out of all the teams that are in the mix.
Mm-hmm.
And wisely so. I mean, goddamn. The other team he wanted to play for was the
We broke it
Commanders.
down, bro. Yeah.
And like the only reason he was doing that was to play with his buddy Jaden Daniels.
That's it. Yeah.
I don't know if that's necessarily good for your career to be playing with your buddies.
See what happened to Devontae, man. Hey,
Right,
Hey,
right.
See what happened to Devontae.
Yeah, good point. Yeah, good point. Yeah, you go to a shitty organization, but you
But I
play
want
with your
my
buddies.
mans,
All right, it might be cool for a little bit, but
Until they ship your man out, and now you stuck in there. Now you look at Devontae like, bruh, what are we doing?
right. Or if Jaden Daniels got hurt or whatever,
Mhm.
that can't be the sole reason you want to go to a team.
Right. Come on, man.
And then, what did I say? Steelers have leverage because Aiyuk only wants to play here. Aiyuk's got leverage because He's obviously pissed off about the Niners offer. He's
Yeah.
rightfully earned a new contract.
Yeah.
And whatever team is
30
trading
mil.
for him,
He's
he's got to
30
agree
plus
to that
mil.
extension.
He's worth 30 plus.
No,
That's
he's
his
not.
mark. If the Patriots are offering 30 plus, he's a 30 plus $1 million wide receiver. All right, that's what I'm saying,
Well,
man.
it's an overpay.
You
That's
are what your market value says you are. He's a 30 plus
27,
guy.
26, 27 is where he should be. If someone does want to overpay for him, that's fine. Good for them.
Low key though, it is kind of crazy to think that, man, if 30 has been this big number for him, and the team is willing to offer you 30 plus, maybe it's 31 or 32. We talking the difference of 4, maybe even 5 M's, just depending on if it's a $26 million offer or a $27 million offer from the Niners, right? That's the part that I'm just like, is it about the money like that? Because you telling me a different story in terms of Aiyuk.
We still don't know how many years are on that Niners
That
deal
is
or how
also
many
accurate.
guarantees.
That is also true.
Because the stuff coming directly from Aiyuk in regards to the Niners contract, he's saying that they told him they don't want him anymore.
Basically, yeah.
Like the 26 million report came from like
That was
Florio
he
or
looked
something.
at that as a slap in the face.
Yeah, I don't know.
The way
That's
he
the
said it.
Niners
Yeah.
leaking some information. Like the stuff we've heard from Aiyuk is like he's not happy with
Right.
what he's being offered and how they're treating him.
Yeah.
I know that. So whatever that 26 million is, I would like to see how many years he's getting paid that 26 million and how much of it's guaranteed.
Yeah. Because I think that makes it very interesting. If he's,
Because that's a fair offer.
Yeah.
It's definitely a fair offer.
but I'm like, is it 26? Is like, yo, only this much of his guaranteed versus that much.
And it
How many
probably
years
is
are on
because,
it?
like I said, they can't afford to pay all these guys.
Because you still got to pay Purdy, and that's what we both
They
are
can't.
agreeing
So it's
upon.
probably front loaded for a year or two, and then
Mhm.
they're like, yeah, we're gonna have to have some cap space
Yeah.
in 2 or 3 years.
Because Purdy has to get broke off next year. He didn't took you to an NFC Championship and to a Super Bowl appearance. You got to pay him, and he played well in both games. Or obviously, he got hurt in the NFC Championship, but in the one that they won, he played well then, and then played well in the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
So you know he's gonna get broke off. That might be it, low key though. You might be onto something with the Aiyuk deal. That could be it. He don't if it's too front loaded because of their situation. Because it's no way when you talk about the
Probably
amount
just like
of
a
guys,
2-year deal.
right? The amount of guys that are paid and on like high end second contracts. These aren't middle of the barrel type deals. These are massive contracts that a lot of their guys are on. And we joke and say like, how do you even do that? Kind of like when we look at the Rams. But that changes once Purdy gets that check next year.
Or you could trade Debo, which I don't think they're doing.
I don't think Debo's trade market is as good as Ayuk's, because I feel like with Debo, you have to know exactly how to use him. Whereas with Aiyuk, I think that's more just plug and play. You know this is a true wide receiver. Now, is he a wide receiver 1? Or is he a high-end 2? Or is he a franchise caliber wide receiver? I think all of that we'll see this year. Can he replicate what he did last season? Because I think that would show, all right, if he does what he did last season as a standalone by himself, wherever he's at, now you put him in legit wide receiver 1. We not even debating a category. But worst case is he falls back and it's like, all right, he's high-end wide receiver 2.
Yeah, luckily if he comes here, we don't have to find out if he needs to be a standalone guy because we got Pickens helping him out.
Unless Pickens is in the deal.
No.
I don't want that deal, though, personally.
That would be the stupidest deal of all time.
Nah, technically, some people going to say Aiyuk is more proven.
That'd be stupid. I mean, especially, too, if it's Pickens and a pick. That would be...
I don't like Pickens in a pick. I'm with you on that.
I
don't like
I
Pickens in
wouldn't...
the pick,
I don't even want Pickens straight up, though, either. Like, we still got Pickens' rookie contract. Yeah, it just doesn't make sense to me at all.
Yeah.
Pickens is right there. I mean, arguably, you could say he's better right now. You could argue that.
In Pittsburgh, we're going to say that. I think league-wide, though, they're going to still side with Aiyuk.
Given that he had 1,100 yards and 6 Pro Bowl numbers last year with Kenny, Canada, Mitch, and Mason as his quarterback.
I mean, I get that, but they still go say, man, those are a lot of excuses. Aiyuk still had the better season. So that's why I'm like, I think.
I mean, it's valid.
I think here we're going to say
Pittsburgh.
Here we'll say GP.
If we want to say excuses, I mean, it's a valid conversation. Like Pickens was in a much more inept offense than what Aiyuk had over in San Fran.
That's real. That's real, man.
Dude's got McCaffrey, Shanahan, Kittle, Purdy.
And he still stood out with all that.
I know. I mean, that's the credit to him.
Yeah.
That's definitely the credit to him. But it's like the I don't know, the chicken or the egg.
Yeah. I mean, basically.
Type of conversation. If
right. Did you benefit because this, or are you like that even with them here?
Right. Right. Exactly.